The greatest question in any moment is, I think, whether that word above all earthly powers is being proclaimed by weak and sinful human beings.
You know, from a personal point of view, my greatest threat is always that I lose my love for Jesus. So I lose my passion for him. I don't deny the faith. I don't deny the Apostles' Creed. I just grow cold and indifferent. And Jesus may spew me out of his mouth, to use the analogy of Revelation 3.
Affirm both of these men. Just to add, go back, you mentioned, we started this talking about Dr. Sproul's bachelor's thesis, which was on the chapter of the whiteness of the whale. If I remember right, the title was The Existential Implication of Melville's Moby Dick. You knew he was going to be a theologian. But in there, he uses the whale, of course, is representative of God. And the whiteness of the whale is the transcendence of God. And he talks about Ahab, who charts the whale and therefore knows the whale and fails to grasp with the transcendent nature of the whale. And he has a line in there that he says, this represents our shallow perceptions of who God is. And you see in there the seeds that are sown that are going to come to fruition in the holiness of God. But to put this into a fine point, and I've heard this by John Piper, so if it's in the words of Sproul and Piper, is it true? God rests casually on the American church. God rests far too casually on the American church. And so a real threat is not to have that vision that we see in Isaiah 6, and that vision of the transcendence and of the holiness of God and of who God truly is and of who we truly are.
Can I just add as a small note, because I think it's been so well said here, that I'm intrigued as a historian that all three of these threats are internal threats, not external threats. It's not really the world we have to fear, it's ourselves. And as a sort of another angle on these things that have been said, I think a great test for us as Christians is, do we love the gospel? Do we love the Lord? Do we love God? And do we do that through his word? My great concern is a sort of fatigue with the word. We know that. We've heard that. Luther used to say, I want to hear the Ten Commandments every day because I still don't know them. And it wasn't that he couldn't recite them. He said, they still don't grab me the way they ought to grab me. And I think a passion for the word is another real danger that besets all of us, to begin to say we know that. We always have to keep coming back to the word. And we should, because it's so infinitely interesting.